Alrighty, I'm excited for this one. To start, you're going to need 1mm and 3mm craft foam, as well as foam board or high density craft foam. You're going to need 4 4.5-inch long cardboard tubes or toilet paper tubes. Again, these can come from actual toilet paper rolls or from a craft store. You're going to need a Sharpie, scissors, and a craft knife, as well as super glue or cement glue, which is what I use. You're going to begin by cutting out all of the paper pattern pieces. Only cut out the dark border lines of piece N. Cut out the outside border for piece D as well, but also this inside hole. Just a reminder that you will need to mark out and cut out 2 of each of the following pieces, A, B, C, and D, and you're going to need to cut out 4 E pieces. Now we can mark out all the pieces onto the foam or the foam core, which should be marked on the paper. If you do not have 3mm craft foam, no worries, just double up on 1mm like I'm doing here. Once everything is drawn out, you can cut everything out of the foam. Edges with line markers indicate that you need to cut away from the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an extended face. Edges with dotted guides indicate that you need to cut into the shape at about 45 degrees. This creates an inverted face. Now for the E and N pieces, using a ruler or just winging it, lightly score vertical marks along the entire piece like so. You're not cutting all the way through the foam, only about halfway. To begin making the night vision goggles, apply glue across the entire face of pieces A and B, as well as 2 of the cardboard tubes. This will create tube A and tube B. When the glue is set, wrap piece A and B around each of the tubes, making sure that the edges line up. Now, as you can see, there is some cardboard showing on piece B. Go ahead and cut out this cardboard section. Now line up the A and B tubes like so, with the edges of the gap in B lining up with the bottom of tube A. Mark out where tubes A and B meet and apply glue to this marked zone, as well as the edge of the gap cut in tube B. Once the glue is set, combine tube A and B along the marked zone. Next, take one of the E pieces, wrap it around the end of both tubes, and mark where the E piece sits on each tube like so. Then apply glue to these marked zones on the opposite face of each piece E to the side that you cut lightly. Once the glue is set, wrap one E piece around each end of the tube like so. Next, we're going to glue piece D to the other end of the tubes. Apply glue to the bottom edges of each tube, as well as the bottom of piece D. The bottom face of piece D is the opposite face as the side that has the outward cuts in the center of the piece. Once the glue is set, line up piece D so that the edge of tube A sits on the side edge of piece D like so. Then press the rest of the piece into the tube's ends, making sure piece D curves with the tubes. Tube B should be completely blocked by piece D, and you should be able to look through piece D into tube A. Now take piece C, flip it over, and mark the other side where the triangle marks you made originally are. Then, dry fit piece C all the way around the tubes, making sure it sits in front and right up against piece D. The triangle marks should line up with the gaps between tubes A and B, as you can see here. Mark out this area on the tubes. When you're done marking out where piece C is going to wrap around the tubes, apply glue to this marked zone, the entire bottom face of piece C, as well as the outer edges of piece C. You're also going to want to find one of the R pieces and apply glue to the two flat edges here and here. Once the glue is set, carefully attach and wrap piece C around the two tubes. Next, fit piece R in between the gap between each tube like so. Now, because this piece is so big, I'm going to call this a NOD capsule going forward, or NOD capsule. NOD stands for Night Optic Device, by the way, if you didn't know. The last thing to do is to apply glue to the outer end of the NOD capsule here, as well as along the entire of two S pieces. Once the glue is set, wrap the two S pieces around the forward end of the NOD capsule, making sure the edges line up like so. We're going to need 2 full capsules here, so go ahead and repeat the last set of stages to make the second of these capsules. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is make the rig that holds the NOD capsules. There are a lot of repeat steps here, so please bear with me. Begin by gluing one entire face of both G and H pieces. Once the glue is set, attach the two, being careful to line up the edges as best you can. Repeat this for the other side of G and for the other H piece. I'm going to call this piece G going forward. Next, apply glue to the entire outside edge of G. Also apply glue along both I1 and I2 pieces. When the glue is set, place I1 along the front of piece G like so. Then attach I2 to the other edges of piece G along the back, like I'm doing here. After both eye pieces are attached, go ahead and pinch the corners of piece G to sharpen up those edges. If there's any part of the eye pieces sticking off of piece G, just trim them off. I'm going to call this piece the rig going forward. Next, apply glue to one entire face of both L and M pieces. Once the glue is set, attach the two, being careful to line up the edges as best you can. Repeat this set for the other side of L and for the other M piece. Next, apply glue to all edges of piece L except for the longest edge, which is the bottom of piece L. Also apply glue along piece O. When the glue is set, attach piece O along the edge of piece L except for the bottom. Because I don't know the thickness of the foam board or high density foam you're going to get, I made piece O wider than it needed to be to ensure that you could cover your piece. Cut any extra that's sticking out so that the edges match. Next, glue along the bottom of either face of piece L, as well as the unmarked side of both end pieces. When the glue is set, attach both end pieces to piece L horizontally, like so. I'm going to call this finished piece bracket A going forward. Next, we're going to center bracket A on top of the rig and mark where it's going to sit on the rig. We're also going to take both F pieces and lining them up next to where bracket A is going to go, center and mark where both F pieces are going to go on the rig. Try your best to center these pieces on the rig. Now apply glue to the bottom of bracket A, both F pieces and the marked zones of the rig. Once the glue is set, place the two F pieces into their respective marked zones. Place bracket A onto the rig with the short end in line with the back edge of the rig and the front end of bracket A sticking out from the front of the rig a bit like so. Alright, now we're going to attach the NOD capsules to the rig. Make sure both A tubes are facing one another so you can actually see through them. Then place them next to one another with about 1 to 1.5 inch gap between the tubes, or however close they need to be for you to properly see through them. Then place the rig on top of the two capsules. My big head got in the way of filming here, so here's a reference image of where the rig should sit on top of the capsules. The outer corner of the rig should sit just behind the rims of the capsules and sit off the back of each capsule just a bit. You're going to mark where the rig sits on each of the capsules. Then apply glue to these marked areas as well as both ends of the bottom of the rig. When the glue is set, make sure to line everything up as well as you can, and then attach the two NOD capsules to the rig. Alright, next we're going to apply glue to one entire face of both J and K pieces. Once the glue is set, attach the two, being careful to line up the edges as best you can. Repeat this set for the other side of J and the other K piece. Next, apply glue to all edges of J except for the longest edge, which is where J will be attached to a helmet. Also apply glue along piece P. When the glue is set, attach piece P along the edge of piece J. We're going to repeat these steps to make a second one of these. I'm going to refer to these as bracket B pieces going forward. Alrighty, time to attach everything to a helmet. This pattern was made to attach to my Special Forces helmet template, which you can find on my Etsy, but if you have your own, go ahead and follow these same instructions. So this is the orientation where bracket A should fit in between bracket B. While holding bracket A between the two bracket B pieces, place the whole thing against the front mount of the helmet, like so, and mark out where the two bracket B pieces are going to fit inside the mount. Apply glue to these marked areas, as well as the one edge of bracket B that is going to be attached to the helmet. Once the glue is set, again, pinching bracket A between the two bracket B pieces, attach both bracket B pieces to the helmet. Now, because helmets are round, the two bracket B pieces are going to be kind of facing or pointing away from one another, which is fine. The next step is you're going to figure out how you want the NODs to sit on your helmet. If you want them down so you can see through, or up and out of the way. When you've settled on the orientation, glue both faces at the top of bracket A and the inside of both bracket B, and then attach them in the orientation you desire when the glue is set. Or, and this is what I'm going to do for my own, you're going to use a headlamp hinge that you can get at basically any dollar store to create an adjustable and functional bracket system. Both of these work great. Hope you enjoyed the template as well as the tutorial. See you next time. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more cosplay content.